He were like, we don't. It's a motorcycle. I feel like the sun is like really. This was a bad idea. Hey potatoes, welcome back to the tea. I'm at Katie's, so I have my nice cup of tea. Cool story, my phone broke this morning. It looks perfectly fine, except that the touchscreen doesn't work. It's like my finger's not even there. Someone just called me and I couldn't answer. That's why I brought that up.
You know I've always got your back, girl, so let me be the one you come running to. I see this as a matter of fact, girl, you just call my name, I'll be coming through, coming.
Here we go. So here we are with journal number 9. Okay. I'm gonna say, on the scale of happiness, I'm gonna say 6.5. Because some of the pages fell out here. It has a lock, which I lost the key to multiple times when I was writing in it and after I was writing in it. This journal went to Spain and Morocco, obviously. It was given to me by, I honestly do not remember. I'm gonna say my mother, because I don't know where else I would have gotten it from while living in Morocco. This is definitely from America. Thanks, Mom. Okay, so this journal is named after Kelly Jo. There's a picture of her. We're not even friends on Facebook anymore, so she's probably never gonna see that. She was a really good friend to me in this season. She was someone who wrote me every time I wrote her an email. She would always say like, I love you, I miss you, I hope you're doing good. And like when I lived in Wisconsin, that's how I met her. She was a really sweet friend to me. It's kind of like with my Jenny journal and my Tara journal, I don't really keep in touch with them, but they were still really important people in my life. So we have 9th book, and then I said I started it March 18th, 2004, and I ended it May 26, 2004, and then I put Morocco because that was the location. I have to start reading the date before I hold it up because it's so hard for me to read it in my webcam with it backwards. So I started at March 18th and I said it had been 70 days since I left Wisconsin, and Quentin and Sean and Dan had been gone for 25 days. I used to keep track, like for the first whole year, I think. I would keep track how many weeks, how many days. But I don't think any of these things are gonna make us cry. So we're good. We're good to go. Let me pull up my notes. A couple themes overall in this journal were that I was writing on my story. You know, the story that I started writing the summer before. Every so often I'd be like, oh my gosh, I stayed up so late writing blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, like, I don't think my parents knew I stayed up that late, that often. Not that I did it on purpose to be naughty. I was just a writer. I had to get my words out. And then I was constantly watching Lord of the Rings. Like, constantly. I don't even know who I borrowed the DVDs from. And then the other thing was that I would write about all the emails I got from Becky, all the emails I got from Sean, all the emails I got from Kelly Jo. March 20th, our neighbors from across the street, Rita and Mediha, came over and they found my camera and we took pictures. And the only reason why I am talking about this is because I found this in my journal. I don't know why this is so funny to me. That's Malik, the one without a shirt on. This girl is Rita, the youngest girl. And then that's Demetrius. And I remember his rabbit. I don't know what his name is. So it was like this whole week where I spent a lot of time with Rita, Mediha, and Omar, and Simo. And so on the 22nd, Omar came over. I'm kind of shocked that we let them come over so much because we later would just never let neighborhood kids come over to our apartment. On the 23rd, let's see here, Omar ate supper and lunch with us, and he gave Malik a green chick. I'll show you guys this picture yesterday because I was at Katie's house, but here I am holding our blue and green chick. This is Moroccan tradition to dye your baby chicks in the springtime. And he grew up until we gave him to the butcher. Circle of life, folks. But on the 24th, we went over to the girls' house and we did Arabic because my sister and I were taking a couple Arabic classes a week, I think. And we had homework, and so Rita was my teacher and Omar helped Talia. And then Mediha and Nessa were there as well. Omar ate supper with us. I said I wish I had more stuff to give, like journals, but I have you and that's that. There's another part where I said, like, I don't always want to give away the stuff they ask for, but I give it anyways. And then on the 25th, which is my mother's birthday, Nessa's friend, Mediha, Rita, Omar, and Simo all came over for Mom's birthday. I didn't write this in there, but we have home video evidence that they taught us all how to belly dance for my mom's birthday. And that was just such a fun night. That was like a whole week of just like spending almost every day with them. We went to Spain, because it's right there, and we just stayed a couple nights in Spain and then we came back. Apparently there were books there and I thought this was so funny. I got a good book, I have to admit.
It is a romance novel.
It's Christian though, and not sappy. Smiley face. I have to get my PJs on, TML. And then the next day I said, I finished Yellow Roses, the romance book. The last story was stupid. Not a romance at all if you ask me. And it's not like I write romance or read it a lot or even like it. A cool thing that happened was that we had some more people come stay kind of with us. There was a group of people who had mutual friends, and so there were some guys that were going to be in the apartment above ours where Sean, Quentin, and Dan used to be, and then the girls stayed, one of the girls stayed in my room, and then two of the girls stayed with Talia in her room. They came on April 5th, and the very first day I wrote down all of their names. First names, middle names, and last names.
I had no chill.
I said later, I felt like I knew everything with everybody asking me questions. Because they were like, how do you say no? How do you say thank you? How do you say what's your name? And I was like, I know those things. And then I also wrote about my brother Quentin getting a 3-spiked mohawk and dyeing the 3 different sections red, white, and blue. The girl who stayed with me in my room, she was really, really sweet. And I wrote in here that she told me, you stay up late for a 15-year-old. And I was like, as I was reading and I was seeing like, oh, I have to go to bed, it's like 11:57, or it's like 11:30, or it's like midnight 15. Who was I that I would just like stay up that late? I mean, like.
Okay, Bailey, go off.
Here's a feely entry for you guys. I was feeling pretty lonely and I said, I wish I had a real stick like a brother kind of friend. I feel like a flop, like I'm done for. I don't feel close to my family, Morocco, my friends here, the youth group, not even faith. The worst part is I hardly feel close to God. I can't pray. Although this is a time when I need him the most, so I'll try. And then I write my prayer. Some days just be like that. And then April 14th was a big day for me because Talia and I had Arabic class, and I said it was so much fun. And right after we got home, we all went to Bouquet, which was an ice cream place, with the people who, like the girls were staying with us. So we all went, and my ice cream didn't come. Everybody else's ice cream came, and they didn't remember, so we had to reorder it. And I was really hungry, and everybody already had theirs. So one girl gave me a bite, and another girl gave me the rest of hers. It was a banana split. And finally the guy comes back with mine, except it's not what I ordered. I didn't care though. I ate it. Everybody was so amazed that I said I was going to eat both of the ice cream things because I had the other girl's banana split. One boy laughed. He said,
It's funny to think that little Bailey is going to eat all that ice cream.
I ate them both and almost ate the rest of Josh's banana split, but decided against it since I was shaking so bad. I don't know if I was shaking because of the sugar or if I was shaking because I was cold. Because I remember being cold because it's just April and I just ate a ton of ice cream. So I just never specified. I also counted all the airplanes I'd ever been on in my life. And I was up to 27 airplanes. Fun fact. Okay, I had to fix the lights. I have to refilm some of those things because it's really distracting the way the sun slowly moves up my body and across my face as I was reading. So here we go. I'm just gonna start over a little bit. Not all of it, just part of it. April 17th was a really good night for me. It was someone's birthday party and the youth group was there. I said, hey, Lorena's party was
So much fun.
I don't think I've had so much fun with the youth group since the first week we were here 14 weeks ago. We played a game where we would pass a ring on the yarn from one person to the next. And someone would guess who had it. I got to guess and I got it right. And then I had the ring once and nobody found out. I'm so sneaky.
Clearly a winner.
We played a game where you would call out a number and you had to put that many people in a group. So like 3, you'd have to have 3 people in a group. And we started inside and I needed a group. And Joel, Faith's oldest brother, reaches across the table, grabs my hand so hard it nearly gets crushed. Then he keeps a hold on my hand and I fall to the table and he nearly drags me across it. I was like, just let go of my hand a minute. That was when Caleb suggested we go outside. Once I was in a group with Caleb, his sister, and his mom because they called for 4. But then they called for 3 and both Caleb and his sister let go of my hand. Then I didn't have anyone, so I said, hey! And they said, sorry. Then we played a game where people would have to trade things. They'd have to switch things. For example, Joel and I switched glasses, and then a person who'd been set out of the room would have to come back and see if they could see what had been switched. This story made me laugh because I could remember so vividly the tone of Mark's voice when this happened. So Mark is Faith's other brother, and he's my age. He's only a couple months older than me. So Mark and Caleb switched watch and necklace. At the same time, Joel and I switched glasses. So Annalie found theirs right away, the watch and the necklace. And when she went to check Mark's neck to see if he had the necklace, she grabbed the collar of his shirt. And Mark, in a state of pure panic, exclaims,
Annalie! Oh my gosh! I didn't know you felt that way about me, but I sure don't feel that way about you.
I remember, dying. I was laughing so hard. It was clearly for the game, and he was acting as if she had just come on to him and tried to seduce him. Mark and Joel had this thing where they liked to tease the other one about liking me, which I'm just gonna say I was hot stuff. Just kidding. I was so awkward around them because like I said, I was awkward around boys I didn't like, and I was awkward around boys I did like. Mark was hitting me and stuff, and I said, Mark, you're flirting with me. And Caleb said, oh, and Mark turned red. And Joel laughed. Then Mark said something about how Joel and I would go good together, and Joel said, you seem to be picking on her an awful lot. When are you gonna ask her out, Mark? That's when Mark and I moved to opposite sides of the room, because neither of us knew how to act. Poor Mark. I said tonight was definitely a good night. I didn't have to write in the bathroom as much when I lived there because I had my own bedroom. And then the very next day, a very important milestone happened in Faith's and my friendship. So we were at church, and Faith and I were standing next to each other and talking, and then Andrew and Caleb were standing next to each other and talking to an older gentleman. It's just a fellowship time. And Faith says,
Andrew did something to me.
Then she handed me her Bible and said,
Hit him on the head for me.
and I said,
No, he's talking to an old guy. I don't want to have a heart attack or anything.
Caleb and Andrew were talking to the man, and Faith and I were talking, and then Mark says, Faith, are you coming? Because it was time for her to go. So Faith pushes me towards Andrew, says,
Do that.
I whap him on the head, hand Faith her Bible, and walk away. I felt like everyone was looking at me. which...
No duh, Sherlock.
You just accosted a young man at church. I just smacked this poor boy over the head. I don't even remember I don't even know if Faith told me what he did. I just did it because she told me to. I think that's when Faith realized I would do anything she asked me to, and I think that was a pretty big power trip for her. It was the first in a long line of things that I did for Faith because she thought it'd be funny. Later, I told Andrew sorry, and he didn't think I was serious, and I felt really bad, but like, fair enough, Andrew. That was a really mean thing to do. And then later at youth group, Faith and I were sitting next to each other and we just laughed the whole time. And then I said, Faith is my best friend here. Her and I could talk about anything. And then in another entry later on, I said, I think Faith is the friend that everybody was praying for me to find. And that makes me so happy that I wrote those things down because it's so true. 15 years later, almost 16 years later, and
Hashtag soulmates.
the guy who managed our apartment building and owned the internet cafe downstairs, he was obsessed with Malik. And he invited us up to eat supper with him one night. And so we all went up and I said, the whole time Abdu was either trying to tickle Dad or telling him he should have hash. My dad hates being tickled, and the fact that this grown man was trying to tickle my father. April 27th, history was made.
History was made, my dudes.
So I said, I got some school done, talked with Talia, my very own sister who I never spent time with or wrote about in my journal. Thank God I started hanging out with my sister. She's one of the best people I know. Love my sister. I'm so glad we're finally hanging out. Also, my brother Demetrius was like,
I can't wait till you stop writing about things like where I run into trees and start talking about when we're friends.
and I'm like, yeah, that's not for a while. On May 13th, I wrote about how Demetrius was trying to write a story, and it was the Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, and the Dragon King trilogy combined, and I had to write it for him. So that's your Demetrius fact. All these pages are about to fall out. This is why I never read these journals, because look, this page just fell out. May 9th, we had some people come over to hang out. It wasn't youth group, but it was a youth group hangout. And so what happened was that a cup of Coke was spilled on me while I was wearing Sean's sweatshirt. And that was a big deal because it was Sean's sweatshirt and I wore it every night when I went to sleep. So tonight, 14 weeks since he left, I'm not able to wear his sweatshirt to bed for the first time. Also, there's a part in here where Faith made me a burned CD with her Jump 5 songs on it that I didn't want to listen to when we went to Efran, my last journal, but I was so stoked. I was like, Faith gave me a CD of Jump 5 and I love it. And I was like, you are a charlatan, Bailey Ann. I'm just kidding, I'm not a charlatan. I just have moods, okay? I have moods. Sometimes I don't want to listen to things, so I don't. I also sat next to Caleb at church and I was awkward the whole time. And then I said that he didn't even say goodbye to me. And I was like, well, no, duh, Bailey. You pretty much ignored him and acted like he didn't exist, even though he was sitting right next to you, being nice and sharing his Bible with, if I could go back and redo things, I would.
I would be so much cooler!
I had some weird dreams in this journal. So May 15th, this was my dream. I was washing dishes. I'm not sure where I was. Mom asked me if I would be able to get married in June, right after Quentin. I wasn't too sure about it. But then I fell in the sink, had a vision that I would have a baby girl heal her knee and have a healing ministry in France. Weird, huh? Yeah. And then I had another dream, which was really funny. It was on May 20th, so just a couple days later. Okay, so it was back in Wisconsin, and Becky was there. We were at the place where we used to live, and the weird thing was they were using half of one of the buildings to film Lord of the Rings. So Becky, Sean, and I were outside behind the building where the wood shop is, and then Sean disappeared. So we went inside, and that was the part where the Lord of the Rings people were using. So Becky put her arm around me, and I put my arm around her, and she held my hand because said that the set inside scared her. And I laughed and said,
Oh, the minds of Moria?
and she said, yeah. There were only like 2 actors, Elijah Wood and John Rhys Davies. And a while later, I had to go. I had to leave for Morocco. So I said goodbye to Becky, and she was with Elijah. And when he walked past her, I said, take care of her for me, please. And he nodded. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was so proud of the fact that my Becky was Elijah Wood's girlfriend. Love that for all of us. And then I ended it May 26th. It was nice, it was windy, it was 41 days until my birthday, it was 96 days since the team left, and 141 since I had last seen Becky. So I talked about some of the things that I had written in there, a lot about Becky, and then I was so excited that Quentin and Bethany, because Quentin was saying how he was going to propose to Bethany, and so I was talking about how excited I was that we would be able to go back to the States for their wedding, and how I wanted to like see all these different people. And then I said, the next one will be named after my friend Kelsey, and she can't fall apart, because I bought her in Spain, so I bought one that wouldn't fall apart. And then wrote a prayer, and I said, bay leaf and squirts, and then I said finished May 26, 2004 in Fez, Morocco, my room on my bed, 11:26 p.m. In God we trust. And then it was done.
I would dance here forever if it brought you back to me. Oh, ain't it funny how never don't mean never, and all my life returns as I stare